This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
Nobody knows who the hell he is.
Well, let's get back to it.
After an Arctic chill swept the country this week, parts of Britain are bracing for up to 40 centimetres of snow.
Oh, no.
Snow? Storm Bert will strike from Saturday. Come on. Storm Bert. I mean, that's not the name of a deadly natural phenomenon. That's the name of a puppet on a children's television programme. Storm Bert, not Ernie, will hit tomorrow with nothing major, just heavy rain, 70-mile-an-hour winds and snow blizzards. But the government has said that there is nothing to worry about. The Met Office has issued snow, ice, wind and rain warnings for all of Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, as well as for the North, the Midlands and the southwest of England, which sounds like everywhere to me. Everywhere gets a warning.
Warning, warning.
2 warnings. The most serious is an amber alert for 40 centimetres of snow in northern Scotland on Saturday from 7 in the morning till 5 in the evening. And at a cost of only £70 million, I will translate European surrender measurements for His Majesty's celebratory feet and inches. It's so simple, an idiot could do it. You just double it and add 32 to get from centimetres to feet. So double 40 is 80 and 80 plus 32 is 112. Blimey, it's going to be 112 feet of snow in northern Scotland tomorrow. Can you believe that?
Yes.
There are warnings that rural communities could become cut off, pavements will become impassable, power cuts could happen, travel delays, stranding some vehicles and passengers could occur. It'll make for treacherous driving conditions, and motoring organisations recommend that you speed up and try to pass people turning left on the inside, as this will surprise them and make them more alert to the dangers on the road. Of course, if you have blacked out all of your windows and put a really loud muffler on your car to make your sewing machine engine sound like a Lamborghini, you will already be doing this, and we appreciate your cooperation.
Thank you.
Storm Bert is expected to sweep in from the Atlantic on Saturday after undergoing explosive cyclogenesis, which would be very worrying if anybody had a clue as to what that meant. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
Until the first week of December. At first, Bert, Storm Bert, then rain, showers, wind, fog, mild in the south, then in the middle 2 weeks of December, it's practically Jesus' birthday. Mostly settled. Mostly. With wet and windiness. Temperatures generally close to average, and I suppose we're going to have to take that. Doesn't sound great, but that's all we get. Email from Dan, he says, what on earth are all these education secretaries on about? Quotes, we need to give children life skills, they say. They can't balance a budget or fill in a tax form, they howl. Well, I don't know about you, says Dan. But when I went to school, it were grand lad. When I went to school, they taught maths, he said. I learned how to add up and take away and divide and multiply and do percentages and fractions and add horror of horrors. Compound interest. Interesting?
Boring.
Very, very boring. All basic parts of the maths GCSE, he says. So how about we actually pay for quality teachers and have people leaving school actually understanding what they were taught instead of telling everyone who isn't rich and privileged that they have to be a plumber instead. No Hamlet for the proles. Pipe joining is all they're good for. No, wait, what am I thinking? This is Britain in 2024. It's hormone beef and hypersonic missiles for us now. A gift from the angry old orange man who is now running the world. Assuming we don't all suddenly start glowing bright white and melt first. What a way to run a planet, eh?
Dreadful.
That's what Dan says, and I couldn't agree more. Well, if I had actually been paying attention to what he said, then I might or might not agree. I don't really know at the moment. I wasn't listening to this show. I was tuned into Classic FM. Classic Smooth. It's so relaxing. It really is. I've been listening to that all this week. Oh, I've been walking around in a trance. Wake up! It's later than you think. Email from Craig in Clacton says, I saw Smug doing a piece to camera from the Farmer's Demo early in the week. He looked like a posh Borat, only funnier. What do you know about farming, Smug?
I don't know anything.
He doesn't know anything. So he fit the bill perfectly, because a lot of people on that march didn't know anything about farming either. What an absolute shower. And Nigel Farage shows up. And he was wearing Wellington boots.
I'm a nutcase.
Wellington boots to go marching in London, because that's what a Londoner thinks a farmer would do. What an absolute shower. And he was greeted like a hero. Oh, go on, Nigel, you show 'em. You know, oh, good old Nigel, they said. In other news, farmers absolutely hate the thing that he is most known for, Brexit. Hate it. But, you know, I've got no idea. Like, I really don't have any idea what's going on anymore. Not a single solitary clue. And it bends my tiny brain in half just even planning, never mind about thinking about it, planning to think about it. Farmers. Oh, good on you, Nige. I mean, if he'd come around and shot their dog, what would they say then? Oh, good shot, Nige. Oh, he wore a flat hat and he had a pint in his hand. Oh, well, the props are good, yeah. Matt in High Wycombe says, so it's rootin' tootin' Putin is throwing his dummy out of the pram because Ukraine is using American and UK-supplied missiles on Russian soil to hit military targets, but he sees no problem in using Iranian drones and Northern Korean munitions on Ukrainian soil to bomb civilian infrastructure and buildings. Meanwhile, another idiot somewhere else paid £5 million for a banana duct taped to a wall. A banana duct taped to a wall.
What?
Yeah. On the weirdness Richter scale, real news often overtakes fake news. I knew that thing was for sale. I didn't know that they actually sold it. Nor was I aware that they sold it for such a eye-watering amount of money. One moment, please. I'm going to have to look that up live on the radio. I know that there's a show going on, but this is important business. Talking about art now, baby. Banana duct. Not ducks. Not that kind of duct. How a duct-tape banana sold for $6.2 million. What? Yeah. Oh, it's the New York Times. So that's behind a paywall. Ugh. Damn it. So they won't let me read that. Oh, here we go. Sky News will let me read them. A banana duct-taped a banana duct-taped to a... Oh, God, here we go. Accept cookies to see more relevant adverts. Oh. This is the bane of my life. I spend most of my life going through accepting or not accepting cookies, depending. Why can't there just be an answer appending to you that you can turn everything off just by clicking one thing? I mean, some of them do say, would you like to reject all? And I'm like, yes.
Affirmative.
I would like to reject all. But others, they make you go down and to click every single blooming one, and it's an absolute nightmare. It's the worst thing that's ever happened to a human being. I'm not exaggerating. A banana duct taped to a wall has sold for $6.2 million at an auction in New York. The conceptual art piece called Comedian became a viral sensation after Italian artist Maurizio Catalan debuted it at the Art Basel Miami Beach in 2019, only in Florida. Festival goers tried to make out whether the single piece of fruit stuck to a white wall with a silver tape was a joke or a cheeky commentary on the questionable standards among art collectors. Yeah, I'm going to go with the latter. In fact, both. It's a joke about the questionable standards among art collectors. I mean, if you'd just written a $sign on the wall, somebody had given you $1 million for it. The Sotheby's auction house said it was the announcement of a new original work by the prominent and provocative artist Catalan that initially captured the world's attention. But Comedian, the piece, quickly erupted into a viral global sensation, drew record crowds and social media inundation, and landed the cover of the New York Post. and divided viewers and critics alike. It didn't divide the viewers and critics alike. Everybody thought it was an absolutely stupid thing to do, and you'd have to be some kind of chump to spend that kind of money on it. I could have done that, was the common response. And you could, but you didn't, did you? No, see? Got to be first. People raiding their fridge chiller drawer to see if there's anything in there they can duct tape to the wall. Not ducks, although you could duct tape a duck to the wall. Can we start the bids at £11 billion, please? Martin in Chelmsford says, the USA is reminding me of Being There, a film with Peter Sellers. He plays the role of Chance the gardener, who is mistaken for a genius when he's really just a simple idiot. Really just a simple idiot, Donny.
Don't talk to me that way. I'm the President of the United States. Don't ever talk to the President that way.
I will never talk to the President that way. I mean, you know, everything is going to hell in a handcart, but I could be appalled. I've decided to be amused. And now, forthcoming attractions. Oh, I'm at the break already. I'll have to tell you about the forthcoming attractions, but not tell you what they are. I'm going to tell you about the forthcoming attractions after this incoming attraction.
This is LBC. This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Hello, boys.
0345 6060 973. Forthcoming attractions incoming. But first, let's have a call in a beautiful downtown Cheshire from a bloke called John. John.
Oh, yeah.
John.
You there?
No? Are you there?
Yeah, sometimes. I remember the farmers in the late 60s, early 70s complaining about the EU and the common market, as it was then. Oh, we can't get into that market. We can't sell anything. All the lamb's coming from New Zealand. We can't sell anything. Mm-hmm. So they got into the common market, and they never had it so good. It became the EU, but they still never had it so good.
That's right.
And then when Brexit came along, oh, we need to get away from the EU. We can't have them telling us what to do.
Yes, that's right.
So they got away from the EU.
Yeah.
Brexit came along with a farmer called Farage and people, and now they're moaning because you got to pay a bit of tax.
Yeah.
Hang on, you can't have it every way.
They do want it every way. Otherwise, it's we're being unpatriotic.
And one other thing, I think Jeremy Clark's in grave danger of disappearing up
his own fundament. Yeah.
Yeah.
Disappearing up the back of his own combine harvester. Yeah. I mean, I like his shows. I always have. But as a person, he seems to be an ocean-going plank.
He is a plank. Oh, yeah, definitely a plank. And they've come up with no arguments. I mean, they were moaning about not getting the money they were promised by the Conservative government, and they still never got the money. Moaning
and moaning and moaning and moaning seems to define them as a people.
Stop whining.
Stop whining, people.
They were coining it in Brexit, and when they were in the EU, they were laughing all the way to the bank. It looks as though the laughing stopped, eh?
All right. Well spotted. Good work. Thanks a lot, John. How many of those people are languishing in jail for holding up traffic, by the way? Because I think the template has been set, and it's between 5 and 6 years. Between 5 and 6 years, if what you are trying to do is bring humankind's attention to the danger, the precipitous danger that we are facing if we keep going along our planet-wrecking ways, you get 5 to 6 years. If, on the other hand, you're just out for yourself and you don't want to pay tax, then you get a free pass. Free pass. Do anything you want. Shafi in Merstham texts, so hi Nick, now that both Putin and Netanyahu have ICC... Hang on a minute. says, now that Rootin' Tootin' and Netanyahu have ICC arrest warrants issued, do you think that Trump will soon be boasting of his conviction by a New York court being bigger than the ICC warrants? Nobody has any convictions bigger than me. I have the biggest convictions. Everybody says so. Noor in London says, American justice really is blind. Trump sentencing is postponed until after he leaves the White House. Good luck with that. Yeah, he ain't going. He's not going. Not now, not ever, never. You'll have him, if he does actually rub up against the inconvenience of dying, he'll have himself stuffed. He'll just pass it on to one of his sons, Uday or Kusei. Well, let them fight it out. Yeah, he ain't going nowhere. That's it, America. Your dream is dead.
The American dream is dead.
It's over. Mark says, I think I'm not on my own, thinking that Starmer, Reeves and the rest of the Labour government have demonstrated a perfect example of how to preside over a complete bleep. Well, he's cleaned it up for me, but I don't think I can even say the cleaned up bit. He said, anyway, move on. He says, I doubt they will last a full term. At least I pray not. It's not Starmer's place to dictate anything to the electorate. He's our employee, sadly. And his job is to do the best job for us all. Failing at every single step, P45 is waiting for them all, says Mark, who's probably one of those people on Twitter with a blue tick and 3 followers. Sounds like a robot to me.
Affirmative.
Yeah, sounds a little bit like a bot to me. One of them Russian bots. For crying out loud, the right wing have been flailing their arms around in a purple fury ever since Labour won the election, as though they are somehow, it's been destined by God that they alone, the Tories, should win every election. And every single little thing they've done, they've been ramping up the negative. It's just been both sad and alarming, because there's just so many people that read this stuff and buy all of it. They believe everything that they read in the right-wing press. Here is the news. The people who own the right-wing press in this country are not acting in your interests. I know that might come as a major surprise, that billionaires do not act in the interests of us lot.
The little people.
Not leprechauns. But, I don't know, maybe the message will sink in eventually, but I'm expecting it not to. I mean, it didn't in America, did it? Let's stick it to the elites by voting for a billionaire who is backed by the world's richest man. They actually think that. They're sticking it to the elites by making the world's richest man essentially the President of the United States of America, backed by, the other richest men in the world. Yeah, really sticking it to the elites. Well done, America. You did not surprise, but you did disappoint. Owen says, I'm in Glasgow for the 4th time this year, and I still haven't seen any rain.
What?
Rubbish. Says it may be moist, but there's nary a drop to be seen. I've also noticed that all of the storm Bert yellow weather warning predictions have all missed Glasgow this weekend. Therefore, I can only draw the conclusion that I am a weather god, and consequently am available to hire to provide half-decent weather in other locations at reasonable rates. Well, that sounds like a business opportunity. I can check on that while you wait. I don't believe it for a second. They're not raining in Glasgow. It's absolutely not. Well, aha! Just as I suspected, it is, in fact, not raining at the minute. It will, however, be raining this morning with the possibility of some snow. Snow?
Oh, no.
And a possibility of some snow or sleet tomorrow. Blech. And then, what? Sunny on Sunday and Monday. Pfft, rubbish. And then raining on Tuesday and raining on Wednesday and sunny on Thursday. And raining on Friday and raining on Saturday and raining on Sunday and sunny on Monday. Well, I don't know, it seems like torture is going on in Glasgow at the minute. They're showing you the sun and then taking it away again. Here it is. There it went. Oh, well. That's just life, isn't it? Have to get used to it, I suppose. Never mind. Bell says, "Hi Nick, if you're after a banana duct taped to a wall, I have one spare. Yours for only £4.9 million. Pop it in the post, Bell, and I'll send you a cheque by return. Appreciate it."
Thank you.
0345 6060 973. Liverpool. Hello, Gary.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I am great, mate.
Good. I'm so glad you mentioned Sellers, Peter Sellers.
Oh, yes.
one of the finest.
What?
One of the finest actors we've ever had, by far.
Yes, OK. One of the finest comedy actors.
You got comedy, but he could do straight roles as just as easy. I mean, being the chance was a project he was waiting forever to make happen, you know?
Yeah. Was that a great acting role for him? I'm not sure. He didn't really do much.
He didn't do much, but it was he brought to life Stan Laurel. If you look at that film again and think of Laurel and Hardy, and look at Stan Laurel and look at Chance, they're the same people, the same person.
No, I'm not buying that. What else have you got?
I'm not going to convince you in 2 minutes.
No, you're not. And I'll give the final word on that to Oliver.
No.
No.
I gave you that on a plate.
Yes, you did. Appreciate it.
I did. Yeah. So I wanted to mention Boris Johnson, one of your favourites all time.
Oh, why? Why would you want to mention Boris Johnson?
Yeah. Wait a minute.
Mm-hmm.
Because he has walked scot-free from so much irregularity and so much impropriety and so much bad stuff he's been doing.
Yep.
And even Sir Simon Cass, the Foreign Office under Secretary of State, you know, the top man in the Foreign Office, said this man is a liar on Radio 4.
Well, there's absolutely no evidence that Boris Johnson has ever lied about anything.
Read my lips, we will not be raising taxes on income or VAT or national insurance.
Never lied in his life.
Well, you know what should happen, Nick? The King, as in King Charles, should have a royal proclamation and appoint independent panel, a bit like that silly Rees-Mogg was sent to lie to the Queen, and he did lie to the Queen, the prorogue Parliament.
Yeah.
The King should intervene, and a royal appointment should be put in place in the next 3 months, and there should be a royal commission into the affairs of Boris Johnson, particularly Russia.
Well, I think that we should have the punishment first and the royal commission later. How does that sound?
Well, you've got it. 10 out of 10.
And another one bites the dust. Yeah.
So, Nick, good night.
OK, and the same to you. I don't know, it sounded like a threat, didn't it? Who are you telling me to have a good night? What's it got to do with you? Yes, that man should be hauled over the coals. You know the man I'm talking about.
The great big greedy nincompoop.
That great big greedy nincompoop. But he won't, though, will he? Of course he won't, because he is not the kind of person that pays for their I don't know what we call it, their heirs, not heirs, HEIRS, ERRS, RRR. He will not pay for his errors. He will not go to jail. He will go to the House of Lords.
Affirmative.
Yeah, he will. You go to the House of Lords. He will not go to jail and not pay a single solitary penny for everything that he has done to us. He will, in fact, go to the House of Lords because, by his own estimation, he has followed all of the rules.
I followed the ministerial guidance at all times.
At all times.
I followed the ministerial guidance at all times.
At all times.
I followed the ministerial guidance at all times.
Yeah, keep saying it and somebody eventually will believe you. Write that in your column. It's in my column this week. Same as last week. Everything's worse without me. Pah!
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Yeah! Dudes!
OK, forthcoming attractions. Ukraine's former military chief has warned that World War III is already underway.
What?
Well, I missed it. We missed the beginning. They started it already and they didn't tell us. It's like coming in 10 minutes late for a film. And you missed the bit where James Bond puts on his skis and then skis off the edge of a mountain and then is saved by a Union Jack parachute. Da-da, da-da. That'll be £72 million, please. Ukraine's former military chief has warned that World War III is already underway, with Vlad the Insaner's best friend in the whole wide world, North Korea, Iran and China, openly supporting his forces on the battlefield. And the weather calls for huge missiles to come pouring down, causing intense blasts of heat and light, winds faster than the speed of sound, and the air will be in the boiling water range. Listeners in Glasgow will get their own temperatures. A man with too many Zs in his name, who is now Ukraine's envoy to the United Kingdom, said, "I believe that in 2024 we can absolutely believe that the Third World War has begun," which is two uses of the word believe. I believe, he said, that in 2024 we can absolutely believe that the Third World War has begun. And that is the most important thing that we are talking about here. That's two uses of the word believe in the same sentence. But I think we can forgive him, owing to World War III having already begun. The general said that as of this year, Ukraine is no longer facing Russia. Soldiers from North Korea are standing in front of Ukraine. And I would bet that soldiers from North Korea are standing in front of Russian soldiers who are standing in front of Ukraine. I bet they're using them as shields. I mean, no offence to little fat Kim, but his soldiers don't speak Russian. They probably aren't fed that well. We know they aren't paid that well. And I bet the first taste of another country, even if it is Russia, is going to make them not want to go back. They'll be looking for the exit rather than go back to little fat Kim land. And what about the troops they'll be joining? Apparently Russia is losing 1,000 troops a day. They're not going to be the elite troops of the Russian army anymore. They're dead or on permanent protect the dear leader duty. And the worst of winter is coming. And besides, I have been hearing about the imminent start of World War III my whole life. How about you? And the little people have been threatening the planet since, well, forever. And the idea that Ukraine could just stand there and take whatever punishment that Russia doles out to it and not be allowed to fight back is absurd. I mean, it's insane. But then leaders of country aren't known for their sanity. And on that score, things don't seem to be getting any better.
Don't be rude.
Just saying. Potentially a call on that subject in Wanstead from a person called Sophie. Sophie.
Hello, Nick. How are you?
I am great, mate.
I'm actually worried about the state of the world.
Yeah, it's the end of the world and I feel fine.
I was saying to my friend today that, you know,
is this an imaginary friend or a real one? You were just pacing around your flat, like talking it out loud to yourself.
No, I was saying to my friend, my actual friend, not a hologram friend.
Right.
That
still no name on this friend, though. I mean, I'm deciding.
Her name's Cheryl.
Well, you just made that up.
No.
Interesting that it took you that long to come up with a name. Cheryl, okay?
Cheryl.
Cheryl.
I was communicating with her, and I did say.
Communicating? What, with like semaphore?
It wasn't a conversation, it was a text, actually. Sadly, it was only a text today.
The thing with texts is, it takes about 5 times as long to say anything that you could have said by using your mouth. Using your thumbs to communicate just seems like the silliest thing. It takes forever. You can have a conversation with somebody in about 2 minutes flat, one that would take all night long by text, because you think that you've sent the last word on that text, and then a couple of minutes later, ping, and then you've got somebody coming back with, you know, like an adjunct to whatever it is that you just said, and then you've got to reply to that, and you think, right, well, that'll be the end of it, and then a couple of minutes later, ping, and you're just a slave to your phone now. Just call people up. Use your mouth.
No, that's true. And I don't mind when it's friends, but I know what you mean about you don't know whether to reply, because someone will say good night or say good night. Have a good evening. You too. Thanks.
That's right. Yeah, because you think perhaps it's rude just to accept their good wishes without giving back your own.
Exactly. You feel like you're not being decorous.
Decorous.
Decorous. No, decorous.
No.
This is going to be a Nick Kershaw and Howard Jones type conversation.
Well, wouldn't that be good?
to be in your shoes.
Decorous.
Oh, wise one. I did say to her.
Who?
They recommend, my friend.
Who? What was her name again?
Cheryl.
Right.
They say, when they say to women, pregnant women, you should be ready with a bag, packed with everything you might need. Mm-hmm. And I'm actually, without being melodramatic, actually thinking I should have a bag ready.
Yeah, you should have a bag with everything you need, which will probably be, banana and tuna sandwiches, jelly with gravy, that kind of thing.
No, it's funny you mentioned fish. I've been listening to Fergal Sharkey's River Report.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a vegetarian anyway. I only eat fish about twice a year. But the rubbish...
Actual vegetarians have a finger of complaint in the air. Go ahead.
The rubbish that fish are ingesting, we ingest when we eat the fish.
Yeah, that's right. Don't go down to the fishmongers today. You're in for a big surprise.
Warning! Exactly.
Could be anything in there.
Exactly. You could be eating anything that's, you don't want to think about it.
No, I don't want to think about it.
Exactly. So I feel like I should get a bag ready in case nuclear war is declared or war.
Mm-hmm. A tin of paint with which to slather it over the windows and the makings of a table with which to hide under. That'll work.
Exactly. I was saying to your producer, though, now I'm sorry to report this. In the school I work in, which shall, of course, remain nameless.
Yes.
It's a wonderful school.
Is it?
But it is, but I spotted a huge mouse in one of the classrooms.
Mouse?
Mm.
Right. How do you know it wasn't a rat?
Well, this is what I was trying to establish because the tail was so long.
That's a rat.
Oh, please, Nick. And, of course, then the head said they're coming into the building because it's... sorry, not the head. One of my colleagues said they're coming into the building because it's cold outside.
When you say the head, are we talking about something in a jar?
The headmaster came in as I screamed. And I was thinking, it's ironic. I'm preparing a bag to abscond, and the rats and the mice are coming into the building.
Yeah. They're the ones that they're making their plans for the absence of us humans, because they're the ones that are going to take over when we're gone.
Exactly, and a few years ago, you may have seen it. I saw, it's actually quite, not disturbing, but upsetting, a film called The Road. And you don't know what the event is, but the actor Viggo Mortensen is travelling through land that has been decimated.
Are you going to hang on a minute? Are you going to ruin it for us?
No. I promise I won't give the end away.
Okay then.
I was thinking, imagine living in a world like that, and now I feel like it's not too far away.
Yeah, living in a world of make believe. Yeah, welcome to the rest of your life.
Exactly, it's awful.
The brief period that has been allotted to the rest of your life.
And we didn't think. I know the closest state to what exactly the 80 summers we have here. The closest we ever got to war after the world wars were during the Cuban Missile Crisis. And I used to think, gosh, that must have been such an anxious and stressful time. And now we've had the dystopian world we lived in during COVID. Yeah. And now this. And what makes me really angry is these people can make these decisions in power, the nincompoops, and ordinary people suffer.
Yeah. Well, and people who aren't ordinary suffer as well.
Exactly. It's disturbing.
You certainly are. You're disturbing me.
No. One more thing.
And another thing.
I think I have started something, Nick, because a few years ago I was talking to Nick Ferrari and I mentioned the word incandescent.
Yes.
And I said, I'm incandescent with rage. And he said, Sophie, do you know what incandescent means?
Yeah.
But it didn't mean exactly what I thought it meant. But now everyone's using that phrase.
It's not a phrase, it's a word. Incandescent.
When you're almost in a stupor. But I thought it meant the other thing. I'm normally good with words. And it
means emitting light as the result of being heated. How hot are you right now?
I thought thought it meant that. Nick Ferrari lied to me. He made it sound
Or it's full of strong emotion and being passionate. She felt an incandescent love for life.
Exactly, and I do. But he was wrong. He gave me the wrong information. I knew I was right.
Well, it sounds maybe that the problem is with you and you just weren't listening properly. In which case, you need to see me after class.
You're not the first person to say the problem is you.
Right, there you are. You should listen to other people more. All right, excellent work. Thanks a lot, Sophie. Cheer up, dear. It might never oh, no, that's right. It already has. David texts, "Hi, Nick. Not sure if you heard that Trump's personal library burnt down. There is a huge catastrophe because both of his books were lost and he had only coloured in one of them." Did you see that picture of him on the plane with Elon Musk doing that, the grinning thumbs up thing? And Donald Trump had forgotten to put on his wig.
What?
Yeah. He's got a bald head. I cannot believe that picture didn't gain more traction. He's got that weird sort of a blank behind the eyes guy that is the new speaker. Is it Paul Johnson? Something like that. One of those people. Blank behind the eyes. One of the Jesus people. Donald Trump has been sent by God to save us. One of those. And Donald Trump's sitting there and he's giving a thumbs up and he must have forgotten to put on his on his wig. Either that or he combed his hair and it's all over the other side of his head, away from the camera. But that looks quite alarming to me.
I don't wear a toupee.
I think that the evidence shows that the opposite is true.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
This is absolute tosh.
Alex says, with Elon Musk having helped Trump win the US election and then taking Trump on a date to a SpaceX launch earlier this week, I can't help but feeling that he is angling to replace Melania as First Lady. You've got competition, Melania.
I don't care.
She really doesn't. Go ahead, Elon. She doesn't care. Let's have a call in Bridgend. Bo.
Hiya, Nick. I just wanted to tell you how tough it is. Can you hear me, Nick?
No.
No, just want to tell you how tough it is being a farmer.
Yes.
Yeah, now they do get up early. Well, first of all, you'd swear they're the only ones who worked outdoors, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, my uncle was a bricklayer and he wore his wife's tights to work, freezed in winter.
Yes.
I mean, what do the bin men do? They do get up early, mind. Now the next thing, then they feed their animals, then they collect their free milk, they collect their free eggs, they have bacon hanging in the kitchen, and they have breakfast. Then they put their free wood on the burner from the woods, and they stay warm all day. Okay,
yes, right.
That's what they do. Because I brought up around farms around this area, and for sport in the afternoon, they get the gun out and they shoot a few peasants who are trespassing on their land.
Couple of peasants. Yeah.
It's hard life being a farmer, isn't it?
And then they get £100 million from Amazon to make a TV program about it.
Of course, yeah, and and then they all bow down and worship the Messiah, Jeremy Clarkson, don't they?
And Nigel Farage in his brand new Wellington boots.
I tell you what, they feed themselves for nothing, and we go to Tesco's or the other superstores are available and get ripped off on prices for everything. You know,
it's very very good value for money. Yeah,
my heart bleeds from
I can hear that in your voice. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Bo. Not in any way appeasing the farmer lobby there. But, when they received Nigel Farage as though he was a hero to them, I mean, that told me everything I needed to know about that farming, about that ridiculous farming protest. Oh, good on you, Nige. Yeah, you show him. He's the man responsible for Brexit. You know, Brexit, said farmers. And then received the man responsible as though he was some sort of returning hero. I'll sum up that argument for you. I mean, come on. Just pay... it's not even your taxes. It's half the taxes that are applicable to the rest of us. And you get more tax-free allowance than the rest of us. And they're still upset. And they're upset on behalf of other people. It's not... Because most of them will not be affected by this at all. Most of the people on that march will not have been affected by it at all. Like a considerable number of them were given the day off by people who are supposed farmers and are actually just billionaires who hoover up vast tracts of land in order to save money when they die and pass on their inheritance. Given the day off, they were. From working for people that weren't actually farmers. They're just tax dodge artists. And complain and complain and complain. As though nobody else does any job that is worthy of support in this country. Why should a nurse have to pay more tax than a farmer? Riddle me that. This text says, I stayed up all night to watch the Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight last week. I was furious as to how bad it was. I cannot believe that I wasted my entire sleep schedule watching two millionaires pretend to punch each other. Thanks a lot, Meghan Markle. Yeah, thanks a lot, Meghan Markle. No! You see what you've done? Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. I cannot express in words how totally uninterested I am in any of that. I heard Mike Tyson was very apologetic.
I am very sorry that I screwed up.
Totally screwed up.
Totally screwed. I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
He's very, very sorry. This text says, Nick, look on the bright side. If we get hormone-injected beef and chlorinated chicken, we don't have to worry about a microwave. That's right. Yeah, that's right. You won't have to worry about the microwave killing you. It's what you put in the microwave that'll kill you. On the other hand, Americans do look very, very healthy on that diet, don't they? Yeah, not so much. 0345 6060 973. Maidstone. Tony.
Hi, Nick.
Tony.
I have no sympathy for these farmers, if I'm being honest.
Zero.
I wasn't enough about that.
Zero sympathy.
No. Yeah, you had Nigel Farage and Jeremy Clarkson, but I was surprised that Sir Ed Davey, who I quite like, actually, he was there, weren't he? But,
I don't know, was he?
He was, yeah. But I suppose a lot of it comes down to his constituencies, which the Liberal Democrats have, I suppose. But I understand that. But, yeah, no sympathy from me here, this end. Right, yeah, but I was going to talk about I'm a Celebrity. No.
I'm a Celebrity?
Yeah, do you watch it?
No.
Oh, it's fun this year.
No.
Okay. I like Talisa. I like her.
Right,
and
I've got is Talisa a celebrity?
Yes, she is.
What is she celebrated for?
She's in a band called N-Dubs. Yeah, but I know. Yeah.
I rest my case.
Yeah. Right, so I just wanted to follow on from the lovely Sophie.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I think Joe Biden has played a blinder. Do you know why?
Why?
Because he has approved long-range missiles just before he's about to be replaced by Donald Trump. And this means that Donald Trump is not going to be able to stop the war in 24 hours. So he'll be proven that he can't stop these wars and he's not a magician. That's true.
Stop the war in 24 hours. He did actually say that. I think he put the number on it, 24 hours. I'll stop the war in just one day, he said. In his... my understanding of that was that he would stop the war by just giving Vladimir Putin anything that Vlad told him to.
Yeah, but I think Vlad shooting, Putin, tooting, whatever you call him, he will hold a grudge. And you see what's coming out today. You know, a lot of people are quite worried about what's going on. I'm worried. I did think that there is a potential for whenever this ends, you know, we've got the nuclear threat. I do think it's real. And I have to give you some credit here because I've heard a lot of LBC presenters talk about this saying, oh, he's not unhinged. He's not really like that. He doesn't shoot from him. Simon Marks.
No. He said it about who?
Putin, that he's not in that case.
Oh.
Yeah. They said he's not like Trump.
Right.
They say that there's a couple of others who said he's not really like Trump. He doesn't really shoot from the hip. I think he's a nutcase.
Well, the two aren't mutually exclusive. You can be you can be a psychopath, but also plot your moves very carefully. Donald Trump, on the other hand, just does anything that will get him another burger and a Diet Cola.
He's got McDonald's on the plane, isn't he? Air Force One. Do you know that?
They do not have a McDonald's on Air Force One.
I'm sure they do.
They may have McDonald's delivered to the plane before it takes off, but they are not frying on that flight.
Wait, have you seen that film, Richie Rich?
No. There's another thing I haven't watched.
No.
Okay, Tony, you really need to look very, very, very strongly at your television entertainment. If you stop watching that tripe, that celebrity, whatever it is, I promise they'll stop making it.
I know, yeah, but I'm not really. I don't really like watching TV. I listen to you all the time, LBC and stuff like that. But it's the seeing them. Oh, but I can't watch the spiders. Them huntsmen. Have you seen the side of them?
No, I don't watch that show. Stop watching that show.
Yeah, I'm being brainwashed, aren't I?
Yeah, I think the brainwashing procedure has been tremendously effective in your case.
Yeah, well, let's just conclude it with...
And?
I am worried about what's going on with this war in Ukraine. It's going to... We're in for a ride when Trump takes over, aren't we?
Yeah, well, what Donald Trump is going to do when he takes over, he's going to remove the permission of the Ukrainians to use American weaponry. He'll probably remove the weaponry and the money as well and hang them out to dry because that's what his best buddy in the whole wide world, Vladimir Putin, wants. And you have to wonder why people like him. And there are people like who seem similarly starry-eyed about Vladimir Putin in this country. You have to wonder why. And the most obvious sign that Trump is completely beholden to Vladimir Putin for reasons unknown, but you can guess, is that Russian news television show that broadcast pictures of Melania naked the day after Donald Trump won the last American election, or cheated his way into winning it, whichever we'll eventually find out actually happened. But yeah, there they were on a news show showing as a joke naked pictures of Donald Trump's wife. Now, if that wasn't, well done, Donald Trump, congratulations and all, but remember who's in charge, then I don't know what is.
You need to cut America off. Go to Europe. That's what I'm saying.
Cut America. Yeah, if America calls, just pretend to be out. Good idea. Thanks a lot, Tony. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nicka@lbc.co.uk. If you're on WhatsApp, it's the same number as the phone. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbott, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
I would say he's incompetent, but I don't want to do that because that's not nice.
0345 6060 973. This text says, "Hi Nick. Yes, we are braced for Storm Bert here in southwest Wales. Talking of Bert, I spotted Bert Reynolds on the TV the other day. in Deliverance, the ultimate ding-a-ling film. Do you think it should have aired before the election? I don't think it would have made any difference. Don't think it would have made any difference. Anne says, good news. 4 weeks tomorrow, it's the winter solstice. That means spring starts 4 weeks on Sunday. Eh? 4 weeks tomorrow is the winter solstice. Yes, I'll buy that. That is the point at which the sun starts... Now, let me get this straight. Well, we go around the moon, and the moon goes around the sun, and we go round the moon that is going around the sun. Have I got that right? And the solstice is when the night starts to get brighter again. It does come around very, very quickly. But it doesn't really make no never mind, because it'll still be dark for months and months and months and months and months and months and months. Yeah. So we're in for a lot of misery. 4 weeks tomorrow is the winter solstice. That means spring starts 4 weeks on Sunday. No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean anything of the sort. Yeah, Aegis. Rona in Purton. Purton? Never heard of it. Purton. Where's that? Rona in Purton texts. Evening, Nick. December already. How did that happen? It isn't. You stop trying to confuse me. She says, I think this has been the quickest year ever. Or is it because I'm getting older? It feels like we've only just had Christmas. Well, maybe you did only just have Christmas, Rona. You seem to be out of your mind. Rochester. Hello, Lulu.
Oh, Nick, darling, hello.
Lulu,
how are you?
I am
missed
great,
you.
mate. You missed me.
I've missed you. I haven't spoken to you for a while. Nick, listen, I wanted to share with you how I have reset my life.
Yes.
And it's all thanks to the orange criminal who's just been elected president.
Right.
Yes. So, anyway, I've just been in India for a couple of weeks, and we were there when the results came through. Now, we were cheesed off, obviously, but mainly because we thought there would be some banging parties if Kamala won, because obviously she's half Indian. Yeah.
Okay.
So that was the first disappointment. And then obviously we were devastated. But I thought, I can't deal with another 4 years. I just can't take it. So to that end, I deleted my Twitter account.
Oh.
Yeah.
How easy was that?
Very easy.
How'd you do it?
So you have to go in. They want your password. I had a bit of a to-do with it because I couldn't remember my password. I had to get a reset password.
Right. Who can?
But I persevered because I thought, it's not serving me, this Twitter business. I mean, I'm just getting angry and upset and depressed. So I've done it. And the first sort of day I thought, oh, my God, what have I done? But actually I pushed through and now I'm out the other side and I'm liberated.
Oh.
Yes. I'm so liberated.
You're free.
I am free. And, I can't bear Musk. I hate him with the passion of a million suns. So I don't want anything to do with anything that Crete's got anything to do with. No. I can't bear the idea of listening to that ugly orange pumpkin-headed person for another 4 years. So, and not just him, it's the people he surrounds himself with. They are the bin juice of humanity.
They are the what?
Bin juice. They're the bin juice.
Oh, the bin juice of humanity.
I mean,
all that ick
people
at the bottom of the bin. Right, okay, I got it now, yeah.
I mean, seriously, irredeemable creatures.
They seem to be united by one factor, that is that they have had multiple allegations of sexual assault leveled against them. I mean, every single one of them seems to have had multiple allegations of sexual assault. Maybe that's who Donny feels most comfortable with.
Well, birds of a feather, darling, you know?
Maybe.
So, yeah. So basically, I've just thought, I have to protect myself from this. I can't do it. I just cannot take it anymore, and I won't take it anymore. So Twitter's gone. I've come back from holiday, and I haven't even put the news on once. All I'm watching is RuPaul's Drag Race, and that's making me very happy. I'm reading books again.
Books?
And,
wow, do they still make those?
Supposedly they do. So I'm just like, I'm happier for it, and I've got so much more time. I used to wake up in the morning and spend about an hour and a half on Twitter, for God's sake.
An hour and a half? I mean, 3-4 hours. The whole day can go by wasting your life staring at that stuff. So do you do any other social media?
Well, I'm on Facebook and Instagram, but there's nothing really there to perturb me. Only because I've got a small business and I've got pages on there, but, I don't really get involved. So, and, it's tedious.
So you don't spend hours wasting your life staring at Twitter. You spend hours wasting your life staring at Facebook and Instagram. Yes.
Well, no, I don't, because, Twitter would engage me because I'd be reading stuff from people that actually know what they're talking about. But it would make me angry because they would be telling me what's going on in the world and it's awful and I'd be getting depressed. Facebook, people are just showing you what they had for dinner, so it's like you can be on there for 2 minutes max, it's fine,
Right.
And Instagram, you've got the cat videos. So
I like the cat videos. Yeah, I like the cat videos.
Exactly. They make you happy.
They do.
Release endorphins in your brain. It's lovely.
Correct.
So, and also, on your recommendation, I'm listening to carbon-based life forms.
Oh, wow.
So,
carbon-based life forms. Yes, that is horizontal chilling material.
Oh, do you know what, Nick? I work from home, and I had them on the other day. I nearly slipped into a coma.
Yeah.
So I had to actually put on some drum and bass to get me going again,
Exactly.
Rock and roll!
Yeah, you have to perk yourself up again every now and then. Otherwise, you'll just become a smear on the floor.
But it's beautiful.
It is.
It's very relaxing. So I'm all about self-care right now. And finally...
in closing...
In closing, so I was very delighted and excited the other day because I came across 3 of your sound bites in a film.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
So it was 2001 A Space Odyssey, which I've never seen before.
You've never seen 2001 A Space Odyssey?
I know. How have I lived this long, right?
I
without
don't know.
seeing that. But it was on the plane. So I was on the plane, and that bit where it says... everything is going extremely well.
Everything is going extremely well.
Yeah.
It was all I could do to stop myself blurting out what you said. But I was on a plane, so I had to contain myself,
That is the worst place to see that film, on a plane, because you're looking at a tiny little screen.
I know.
And all of that noise around you, and you're being disturbed by people's babies that are crying. And,
I did have a crying baby, actually.
All of the rest of it, yeah.
They shouldn't allow these babies in business class. I mean, that is so wrong on every level, isn't it? But, Nick, can I just say, I didn't entirely understand the film, so I'm going to have to Google it. It could be because I'd had a couple of champers, but...
Yeah, no, it's deliberately hard to understand. And I'm sure as many people as have seen it I'll start that again. Mm-hmm. There are as many explanations as there are people who have seen it.
Right. Okay, that makes me feel better. I was feeling a bit of a dunce.
You just have to put your brain in neutral and float downstream, baby.
Yowza.
Yeah. So, Nick, I'm only going to listen to you now on LBC. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say was,
This is about 3 more things after the final thing that was some while ago.
I keep remembering what I'm going to say to you. So, like before social media, you'd avoid stupid people like the plague, wouldn't you? Because you wouldn't want to be privy to their brain farts, would you?
Right.
But now, with social media,
we invite them into our lives.
Yeah. And I'm sick to death of it. I'm not going to take it anymore. I'm just not going to take it anymore.
I want you to go to the window, throw the window open and say, I'm as mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore.
Yeah, I'm going to do that right now.
All right. Excellent, Lulu. Thanks a lot. That noise you hear in Rochester will be Lulu screaming her head off. She's very, very angry. This text says, do you want cookies with your banana? Yummy. Well, I do, but I want them to be called biscuits, if that's okay with you. David in Teddington says, hi, Nick, I see Jeremy Clarkson's bringing out a new version of his popular TV show. It's called Who Wants to Continue Being a Millionaire? I mean, of all the people in all the world to get to be your figurehead, I mean, he has got to be the worst choice they made. Maybe they didn't make it. Maybe it was imposed on them by him being famous and all. But a bloke who says that he bought the farmland as a tax dodge and then tries to reverse out of it after his own words were spoken back to him and says, oh, well, yeah, no, I was kidding about that. I didn't want it to be a tax dodge. I just wanted to shoot things, as though shooting things is otherwise unavailable. You've got to buy your own £4 million farm. Just take a tiny amount of that money and give it to some Scottish landowner and he'll let you shoot anything you like. including the driver of the Range Rover that got you out there. Natasha in Broxbourne says, my cat is called Courtney. Everyone thinks he's a girl. I tell them he's named after Courtney Pine, the famous black jazz musician. Yes, he's a black cat. I played my cat some of his music and he seemed to approve. But how? What did your cat do that demonstrated approval? You mean he stopped ripping your furniture to bits? That. Or he stopped doing that thing with their claws when they... What is that about? Because it's extremely painful. And the younger the cat, the more likely they are to do it. And a young cat's claws seem to be the sharpest instruments that have ever been invented. And you stroke them and they're sitting on you, and then they do that thing with their claws, and in and out, and in and out, and in and out. And the pain is excruciating. So you want to stop doing it. So you think it would be counterintuitive for the cat to do that, because it will stop the thing that is making it purr. And by the way, I think purring is only a thing that they do to us, like meowing. I don't think they meow to each other. They meow to us. And they've got special meows that they have determined sound like babies, which we cannot resist. I mean, if your cat's sitting there going meow, then you can ignore it. But if it does that thing, they send their meow through their nose because they know it sounds like a baby, and that is impossible to resist. You just can't help but pick them up. Oh, what's wrong? And what's wrong is that you're not paying attention to them, which is why they come and sit on whatever it is that you're trying to read. Like, why are you staring at that thing? Have you seen me? Nasty, evil little balls of fur, but so cute.
Leading Britain's conversation, Nick Abbot. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Everything is going extremely well.
0345 6060 973. David in North Carolina texts, the Trump clown show continues, but the real news is that the deer and the rabbits have been running through the woods at the back of my house. Apparently Meghan Markle has been yelling at the wildlife. Even the animals are afraid. Thanks a lot, Meghan Markle. No! You see what you've done? You're an intercontinental menace. Lucy in Balham says, I think you should leave selling ducks taped to walls to Damien Hirst. That's exactly the sort of thing that Damien Hirst would do. He'd call up his manufacturer and say, I've got a great idea. Put a duck in a vitrine made of solid gold and diamonds and some flies in there and seal it up, and that'll be £150 million, please. Another winner. 0345 6060 973. Southampton. Simon.
Nick, good evening.
Simon.
A couple of things.
Yeah.
First thing is, so, and what prompted this was during one of your breaks, don't worry, I'm not going to mention the ad, you had that Lewis Goodall bit that he did with Braverman.
Mm.
And it made me think, like, the difference between left and right, I suppose the idea is that we all have the same goal, but we've just got a different way of getting there. And
not really.
When did that? Well, just to assume for the purpose of the conversation.
You are absolutely right, Simon. That is completely correct in every respect.
Yep. Thanks, mate. What point? Well, apart from when sort of Donald Trump burst onto the scene in 2015. But at what point did it go from the left is relatively sensible with, meaningful steps to get to the destination, and the right just absolutely got off the bus and went, right, everything, black is white, up is down, left is right, and everything is just bonkers, we're just going to lie to you, we're going to just blatantly, and so many people fall for it. Why? How did we get there? And why do these people not realise that they're being gaslit by
the people who have already made it, and who weirdly never stop complaining about how tough their life is.
And But surely people, I mean, look, I would say surely people aren't that stupid.
Yes, they are. I'm afraid so, yeah.
They are.
If we've learned anything, then we should have learned that. The masses are asses.
Well, I actually think that in that respect, that the Trump victory could be a good thing, in that these people have been told and told and told, and they will not have it. So they now need a dose of what it is they think they want, and then we'll see if they still want it.
They will.
But we know how much noise they make.
Yes. They have, unfortunately, joined a cult, and it doesn't matter what the cult leader will do to you, up to and including getting you to drink the poison that kills you, they still will revere the dear leader.
It's just so it's sad, it's mad. I just feel so sorry for these people. And you listen to them on...
I don't feel sorry for them at all. I hope they reap the absolute worst that Donald Trump has to offer, and I hope that some of them actually do realise the error of their ways, and that perhaps they should stop watching Fox News and and getting their information from internet social media sites and Russian misinformation social media.
Well, look, so I've got another thing to say, but I just want to finish this point off by saying the definition of irony is Nigel Farage going to a farmers' protest.
Yeah, in a pair of Wellington boots, because he thought that's what farmers would wear to a protest in the middle of London. Wellington boots.
You got to take a hat off to him. If he thought he did a really bad job, he'd go there and get lynched. He wouldn't show his face.
No, but
so he's obviously confident in the stuff that he spout.
Yeah. Well, he's confident that the people who were doing their protesting would be on his side for based on the offer that he presents as a politician. In other words, they would be willing to blame a small group of easily identifiable people for everything that is wrong in the world, and they greeted him like a hero. The man who gave the farming community Brexit, which the farming community hates with a passion, greeted Farage as some sort of hero, because he wears a flat hat and an old waxed jacket. Oh, please.
So weird.
All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Simon. 0345 6060 973. I can't believe he wore Wellington boots. Oh, good on you, Nige. Yeah, you show him. I mean, I have detailed files. Shall we get into it now? Oh, all right then. Increased red tape, a worsening economic situation, damaging free trade deals, a trail of broken promises. It seems that farmers and those working in the ancillary industries are far from satisfied with Brexit. That is the inevitable conclusion from a new survey by a publication. They looked into how the agricultural sector now perceives Brexit 7 years on from the historic referendum of the 23rd of June 2016. And that publication, by the way, is not some woke lefty organisation like The Guardian. No, it's Farmers Weekly. A new survey by Farmers Weekly into how the agricultural sector perceives Brexit has shown that they perceive it pretty negatively. Asked whether they believe Brexit had a positive or negative effect on the UK economy, the overriding sentiment was negative. About 3/4 of all respondents feeling that way. Asked about the state of their own business due to Brexit, a similar picture emerged, with 69% saying that Brexit had been either fairly negative or very negative. Both arable farmers and livestock farmers seemed equally disappointed. 70% of the farmers who grow cereals said Brexit had been negative for their business. 76% of oilseed rape growers felt that way. 68% of farmers with beef cattle, dairy cows or sheep had a negative perception. They're growing vegetables. 81% of farmers said Brexit's been a disaster, and 79% of those who keep pigs. It was also not expected it was also not unexpected to find that those farmers who voted in favour of leaving the EU back in 2016 were slightly more upbeat in this latest survey. explained one satisfied Welsh farmer, "I have my sovereignty back." Which is about as asinine a thing as one could say in the circumstances. No, you don't have your sovereignty back. What you have back is no ability to change the manner in which you produce your wares, because the European Union or any other country that we fashion a trade deal with will be telling you how to do your business. Sovereignty back. Oh, good grief. I have my whatever I read in the Daily Mail today back, said one satisfied farmer. Fallout from that 2016 referendum has been considerable. Several factors highlighted for the negative perception at farm level. Most noticeable, the increase in input costs. One farmer said the EU will retain subsidies while the UK needs to produce to the same standards to be able to trade with the EU, but with far lower subsidies. We need to be on a level playing field, he said. Another said, "Oh, I've got my sovereignty back." Red tape. Red tape. You remember how much we were promised that red tape would be removed?
We could have cheaper food, clothing and footwear straight away by getting rid of the protectionist
blah, blah, blah. Yeah. On red tape, a clear majority felt that despite pre-Brexit promises of a bonfire of red tape, once the UK left the EU, the reverse happened. 86% of farmers say they had been lied to, that all the promises that had been made beforehand never came to pass. There's also a high level of scepticism about the free trade deals that the UK government has been keen to forge since leaving the EU, with 89% saying that those free trade deals were either fairly bad or very bad. 89%. Wow. It seems everyone is equally dismayed by the trade impact. 2/3 of those surveyed believed UK agriculture was better off when the EU devised policy. 83% said Brexit had been worse than expected. 52% want to hold another referendum. Oh, my God. Another referendum? You'd have to be out of your mind to want a second referendum.
We should have a second referendum.
I mean, what kind of ocean-going chump would want a second referendum?
We should have a second referendum.
Failing that, 70% of farmers felt that the UK should at least rejoin the single European market, a figure that rose to 85% in the case of those working in the ancillary industries. So that's what farmers actually think of Brexit. And when Nigel Farage, the architect of Brexit, hoved into view in his Comedy Wellington boots, they said, "Oh, good on you, Nigel, you show 'em." Morons. We're surrounded by morons. Let's see now. Have I got time for one before the news? Not quite. I'll do some texts and emails, of which there are a boatload. One moment. Get right to the top. David in Paul says, "Nick, I think Just Stop Oil protesters should use tractors to disrupt the traffic when demonstrating. The police just stand aside and let you drive right over their barriers with no reaction at all. Must be that two-tier policing that Farage keeps banging on about." Yeah, some of those people should be in jail for 5 to 6 years. The Just Stop Oil people were trying to alert the world to the imminent catastrophe. It's not going to be a catastrophe for the world, but it's going to be catastrophic for our position on the world, because we fashioned this life based on a dependable weather. We know that it's not going to snow here in the winter above our heads. We're not going to get 10, 20 feet of snow, whereas you go around the world on the same latitude and there are places that get 10 feet of snow. So we live here knowing that our weather is going to be more or less reliable. It's going to be cold for a few days a year, it's going to be hot for a few days a year, and all the rest of it is going to be same with every other place that humans have inhabited. And we've mostly ended up where we are because of water. And when water starts to become unreliable, then big trouble, huge. So they were just trying to, make that point. They Just Stop Oil people. And they got put in jail, not for doing it, but for talking about doing it. 5 to 6 years. And the farmers, meanwhile, are back among their flock. Nothing happened at all. Yeah, that sounds like a two-tier police state to me. 0345 6060 973. It's both two-tier and a police state.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
You're joking.
Caroline says, good morning from beautiful New Zealand. Are you? That's not how they speak, is it? That's Australian. New Zealand have... I'm going to say something controversial now.
Oh, no.
People from New Zealand have the second worst English accent in the world. There, I've said it. Second only to South Africa. I think you'll find that is correct. Good morning from beautiful New Zealand, says Carolyn. In response to caller John, he was saying a great deal of meat was imported from New Zealand. Did he? Who? On this show? I don't remember that. As a result of this, she says, we cannot buy New Zealand lamb in New Zealand. Really? It comes from Australia and further afield. The only way we can get New Zealand lamb is to raise orphan lambs and home kill. Loving your programme, says Caroline. Oh, poor little lambs. Bouncy, 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 then a bolt through their forehead. Oh. Max in Nottingham says the right-wing reaction to losing the general election must be the longest tantrum in history. Yeah, they've only just got going. You just wait. It is a tantrum. It's exactly what that is. East Yorkshire, hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, how are you doing tonight?
Good, thanks.
Good. I'll get on to farming in a second, but one thing that amused me this week, did you see that there'd been some loss of discipline in the Korean soldiers in Russia?
No.
Yeah, the reason being was that they'd become addicted to European porn.
Right. Well, you know, I suppose if it's the first time you've seen it, then you think, what's this? And then 36 days later, they're still scrolling.
Disgusting.
You believe that?
Yeah, the interesting thing will be when they go home. How are they going to brainwash them?
Yeah, they have to be re-washed, brain-wise. Yeah.
But just on the farming thing, I broadly agree with what your attitude on this is. And I deal with about 40 farmers, and I went down the list. And
deal with them? What do you mean?
I work with them. I do vermin control on their land.
Oh, right.
So, anyway, I went down the list, and there's only two could possibly be in trouble, and they're both in the 40s. So they've got 30 years to sort it. But the interesting bit was, I met three of the richest ones who have got land worth over 15 million and other interests in property and what have you. And I said to them, just as a throwaway sort of comment, I said, this inheritance thing, does it affect you at all? And all three of them, three separate meetings this is, all three of them looked at me like I was an idiot from another planet and said pretty much the same thing. We don't pay inheritance tax. And these are multimillionaires. Multi-millionaires, and they just looked at me like I was so stupid to consider this could affect them.
Yeah. Well, taxes are for you and me.
The little people.
Not leprechauns.
But most of the people I deal with are tenant farmers or very small farmers, and they just don't reach the 3 million.
No, but they appear not to know that. They appear to have been completely suckered by all of this propaganda, which is being pumped out from billionaires who run the mainstream press in this country, who are also, coincidentally, I'm sure, major landowners. And they've just been able to persuade these people who aren't going to be affected by this at all. And it's not just farmers, actually. It's the general public, too. And the way that the easy tricks that they stole from the Republican Party, the first one is to say, it's not don't call it inheritance tax, call it the death tax. And then everybody will be against it because they don't like the idea of death.
No, you're absolutely right. And this European thing as well. Since leaving Europe, the government promised to maintain their subsidies.
Yeah.
And the Tory government kept shouting, we've given X billion to farming. Well, they did in a way, but it's not the way the farmers want it, because they've given them billions to rewild and to grow wildflowers. That isn't what farmers want to do. They want to produce food with a little bit of support from the government. And so they're upset about the Tory party doing what they did. And now they're going to go at the Labour Party. But farmers are prone to moan a bit when things are going wrong. And when things are going right, they tend to take the monster.
Yeah. Well, yeah. The whinging and the whining and the moaning.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
Yeah, good on you, Nige. You shut them.
And Farage would... A lot of people aren't aware Farage earns £3 million worth of land himself. And he's no longer married, so he won't be able to use that dodge. So maybe... He might have to pay.
Nigel Farage is a landowner, and he's got £3 million worth of land. Where'd you find that out?
It was in the paper, one of the papers.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going to look that up. Which paper? One that you can trust, or?
I can't remember.
Farage.
It might have been a political or one of them.
3 million. Inside Nigel Farage's £3 million, 4-home luxury property empire bought since Brexit. How's he done that? Self-styled man of the people has amassed a property portfolio worth almost £3 million since Brexit. Disclosures, says the Mirror, come after it was revealed that the Reform leader is earning around £700,000 a year outside Parliament.
What?
700 grand.
And representing Clapton in America.
Yeah, on the world stage. Yeah, good one. Hey, people of Clacton, wake up. It's later than you think.
Cheers, mate.
All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Andy says, hi, Nick, is there a Donald Trump commemorative teddy bear? I'd very much like to buy one. Well, if there isn't, then there probably will be shortly, if not sooner. I would like you to all buy my commemorative teddy bear. It has quotes from the Bible printed on its bottom and a string in the back. You pull it, it says, I didn't touch her. Ahmed emails, if you won the lottery, would you treat yourself and spend 4.9 million on a banana taped to a wall? No. No, I would not. I don't believe that any single person bought a banana taped to a wall for £4.9 million. I just do not believe that. What's the name of the person? Oh, my God. Justin Sun, founder of cryptocurrency platform Tron, has paid $6.2 million at an auction for a certificate of authenticity that gives him the authority to duct tape a banana to a wall and call it comedian. Wow. So it's not even the original banana. What he bought for $6.2 million was a certificate that gives him the authority to take a banana of his choice and duct tape it to a wall. Huh. Now, which clip most sums that up?
Well, the whole world's gone crazy.
Yep, the whole world has in fact gone crazy. Bidding started at $800,000. Did it? Well, that was bold. And it increased to multi-millions within minutes, with the auctioneer joking, don't let it slip away. Oh, funny, no?
No.
Lucius Elliott, head of contemporary marquee sales at Sotheby's, said there had been much debate over whether this is art, whether it's a prank, whether it's a symbol of the excess of the art market. In truth, it is, of course, all of those things, he concluded. Yeah, it is. Apart from the art part. That, I don't believe it is. A conceptual art piece by Maurizio Catalan, whose work I am unfamiliar with, and you were unfamiliar with it too, until he decided to tape a banana. No, not until he taped the banana to a wall, until somebody took him seriously in his intent to tape a banana to a wall. The modern art market is just cracked. I've mentioned this before. You know, there's an art gallery around where people run hedge funds. You know, these shouty types in $7,000 suits that they get featured in the paper every now and again because they'll make some deal where they screw somebody out of £100 million, and then they'll go and have lunch, and they'll go down the wine list in some fancy place, and they'll start picking out bottles that are $10,000, and then just leave them half drunk on the table, and the bill will come to £100,000 for lunch, something stupid like that. They're just showing off with their giant watches the size of grandfather clocks. Those people. And when they make those deals, they want to splash out on something or other that they'll be able to hand down, or more accurately, put on their wall to show how much money they've got. And there's an art gallery that literally sells paintings of money to those with too much of it and zero taste. Those people. All of the wrong people in the world have all of the money in the world. All of them. 0345 6060 973. Now, let's see who's been waiting the longest. I'll be totally fair about this. Norbury. Tony.
Yeah, hello.
Tony.
How you doing?
Good, thanks.
Glad to hear from you.
No, you called me.
No. Basically, I'm glad you took my call.
Ah, carry on.
My gripe is with these landlords that are charging these tenants that have leaseholds astronomical amounts of money.
Are you talking about the King and Prince Charles?
Well, them as well.
Yeah.
But I've been watching programs this week where these people are trapped in a contract where they're paying astronomical amount of money for maintenance. £700 to change a lock.
How much?
£700 to change a key. It's just like ridiculous, and I'm just hoping, with Angela Rayner, I'm just hoping, stepping in for like these people with the housing and actually changes everything. What's your views on things?
What's my view on things? I'm going to have to get back to you on that, Tony. It's a little bit too all-encompassing for me to give you all of my views on things, but the specific thing that you just mentioned, I think it's an absolute blooming outrage, and the King and Prince Charles should get their fingers out and do something about it, instead of swanning about the place, kidding on that they're doing us favours by fronting a charity that other people are giving money to, not them. So they get the glory and the positive vibes from fronting a charity, and everybody else gets to do all the work and, donate the money. Oh, I've got news about the cost of the coronation, by the way. You may have read that the actual cost of the coronation has just been revealed, but no, it hasn't. No, it hasn't. It's much worse than that, but I'll get to that in a bit. Thanks for that, Tony. Appreciate it.
Nick Abbot on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Right, so what are we doing?
Given we're doing a radio show, but it does remind me that I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Yeah.
In which Carol and I try to solve people's problems. Now, if you've got a dilemma or a problem or an issue or just one of those things that you always thought, why is that? Then let us bend our brains to your issue. Simply send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. That's nickandcarol@global.com, and prepare for total satisfaction.
Oh, right, yeah.
Ask for it by name on an internet near you. It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, and we are edging towards our 300th episode. That is 300 episodes without killing each other.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? I think you'll love it. 0345 6060 973. Royden in Essex. Hello, Lawrence. Lawrence? Is there...
Hiya.
There you
Hi.
are. Yes.
Hello? Can
Yes,
you hear me?
Lawrence. No?
Hello. Nick, you can flick me. I agree with most of the things you say.
But?
However, when it comes to Trump, you've just got a view that I just don't get. The guy got in last time, put up productivity in America hugely, got him and America out of Afghanistan, and the Biden administration has just said, "Yeah, we can send missiles into Russia." UK has done it with the shadow missiles.
Yeah.
Trump wouldn't do that. So please tell me.
Would you accept that if somebody...
You might have
hang on a minute, Lawrence. Hang on a minute. Whoa, Nelly. Let me just ask you this before you carry on.
Okay.
If somebody attacks you, should you have the ability to punch back? Or should you actually, because they started it and they don't like you, for whatever reason, should you just stand there and allow them to punch you in the face?
Who started it?
They did. Whoever they is.
Who started it?
They did. The person that comes up to you in the pub, Lawrence, the person that came up to you in the pub is the one that started it. He punched you in the face. I'm explaining it to you. The person that comes up to you in the pub punches you in the face. Do you have it? Are you understanding it so far? I'm assuming that echoing silence is a yes. Should you, A, just stand there and allow them to punch you in the face, or B, should you fight back? Lawrence.
No, I'm very, very aware of that. But however, NATO pushed Russia into a corner.
No, they didn't.
And
in what manner did they do that?
You can't deny that.
I am denying that.
Yes,
of course they didn't. You think that Russia should determine... Now, hang on a minute. Do you think that a country should determine which international... listen to me, Lawrence. Do you think that a country should determine which international... Listen. Do you think that I'm going to have to go back to the beginning every time you interrupt me. Do you think that a country should be able to choose which international organisations it is a part of?
I think there's a delay on the line, and that's why you think I'm interrupting you. So I apologise for that if there's a delay on the line.
Right. Never mind about that.
However...
yes or no?
Okay. They pushed... I'm not...
Yeah, no, you've said that. Yeah, you are. Yes, you are.
It was pushed into...
No, that's just... that's Russian propaganda. It's Russian propaganda that you're picking up off social media sites, and it's being pushed by not real people, it's being pushed by robot accounts.
Affirmative.
If you look on social media and someone on Twitter and someone's got a blue tick and they've only got 30 followers, that's a Russian bot account. Those aren't real people. You're just spouting Russian propaganda, Lawrence.
Okay. No, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not at all.
You
I'm
absolutely
not
are.
pro-Russia. However, if you look at... Let's take Trump on his own. In America, productivity went up hugely when he was in power.
What are the figures?
He also got them out of Afghanistan.
I don't buy that at all. Productivity did not go up under Donald Trump.
Really?
Either this is impossible. Either there is a delay on the line or there's a delay in your brain. I don't know which. But it's impossible. Maybe we'll get... I was going to say maybe we'll get back on another line, but can I really? Just stop. Whatever source of information, he said, wiggling his fingers in the air to denote inverted commas, whichever source of information you're getting this guff from, Lawrence, stop reading it. It's not doing you any favours. A country should be able to decide which international organisations it is a member of. It is not up to the country next door to decide that for them. End of story. And if somebody starts bombing you, it's absolutely preposterous to suggest that you should not bomb them back. It's a war. And Vladimir Putin's position seems to be that I can do anything I like and I will get really angry if you hit me back. All of the people that have died because of that man, and still people are supporting him. It's, it's not bizarre, really, because advertising works. And propaganda is advertising. And you are the victims of a propaganda campaign, Lawrence. Wake up! It's later than you think. And that was a trick question, by the way, because I would imagine that he is a person that voted for Brexit, which was an international organisation that we decided we didn't want to be in anymore. I mean, OK, we decided it based on a tower of lies, and oily charlatans told us it would be one thing and it was the exact opposite. And the vote was so close, bought illegally from hooky funds that came from sources that we still don't really even know, but we can guess at. We can guess that the original currency was rubles, because Vlad seems to have inserted himself in every other country's business. Why not ours? Because it worked out really well for him. Try to split Europe up, that works really well for Vlad the Insane. Of course it does. But the amount of people that seem to be in his corner is just absolutely extraordinary. But I think it is because of the power of propaganda. If you tell people a really big lie over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, they'll believe it. Or at least a significant number of them will. Just enough will believe it. Just stop reading that stuff. Get off Telegram. And get off all of the other, poisonous sources of misinformation. Liar! Exactly. They're everywhere. I just find it amazing that people will say that. Oh, you're really going to upset Vladimir Putin now if Ukraine are allowed to strike back. What, he gets to kill anybody he likes because he's, what? He looks great in an expensive coat? Why? Why? I mean, if France started sending rockets into this country, what would our reaction be? Oh, that's okay. They probably have a good reason for it. We decided to leave the European Union, and so France have got the right hump, and now they want to blow up our cities. But, that's it. We better not strike back, because that would be mean. I'm just mystified. I just can't fathom it. Paul in Manchester says, I can't believe Meghan Markle wants to turn every farm in the country into a car park for electric vehicles. Who does she think will grow her avocados? Says Paul. There's an indication of where we are in the world, by the way. Avocados. Avocados are now woke. Yeah, can you believe that? People who eat avocados are woke, and woke is bad. How we got to that, I really don't know. Why avocados? Don't know. And why woke, like being concerned for the welfare of others, why that's a bad thing now? I don't know that either. I think that the human race has taken a misstep. I think we veered to the right, some way back down the track, when we should have veered to the left. Or just gone straight ahead would have been a good idea. Still, never mind. It's just life. We're stuck with it, I suppose. Till something better comes along. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nica@lbc.co.uk. If you're on WhatsApp, it's the same number as the phone, 0345 6060 973. John in Folkestone says, Hi Nick, don't they alternate storm names, boy, girl? Does that mean the one after next will be Storm Daniel? Quite possibly, yeah. I didn't touch her. That is fake news.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
About Nick, listen. Now, what I'm trying to say to you is this, Nick, right?
David Paul says, Nick, did you see Farage predicting that Jaguar Land Rover would go out of business because he didn't like because he didn't like their new brand of advertising? He was moaning that the Indian company who owns Jaguar Land Rover had the audacity to change the brand without asking Farmer Nigel first. Yeah, I mean, as far as advertising is concerned, they're not actually selling cars yet. I think they're going to stop production. If I'm getting any of this wrong, then please don't correct me. But I think they're stopping production, and then they're going to come back with an all-new electric fleet, aren't they, in about a year's time. So this is a placement. This is a sort of a cut from the past. And if you think about who owns a Jaguar... A Jag. Well, it's some... it's Arthur Daly, isn't it? He owned a Jag. It's that type of person. Somebody who wants to drive around in a gentleman's library. But that's not the kind of people that they're going for now. They want the kids. Now, I would imagine that their advertising will change when they actually have cars to sell, when their new fleet comes in a year or whatever. And the advertising won't be that anymore. Because you've got to actually show a car in a car ad. I mean, that seems to be, fairly obvious. But they don't have any at the moment to sell. As far as I'm aware, they're changing their fleet to all electric. So they're just putting down a marker. That's all. But, of course, it doesn't stop the usual suspects from,
whinging and whining and moaning.
Yeah, exactly. Because whinging and whining and moaning is a career path for certain individuals. Make a ton of money, whinging and whining and moaning. This says, the Labour government has given £7.2 billion of British money to foreign economic aid in the last 12 months, a rise of over £2 billion from the previous year. Rachel Reeves saved £1.5 billion by letting the poor pensioners freeze this year. Do you really think Labour are doing a good job? Yeah, well, everything that you just said there is an extreme reading of the actual situation. Foreign aid isn't us being nice. Foreign aid is bringing other people in different countries up to the point at which they will be able to buy our stuff. That's what foreign aid is. I mean, we're not doing it out of the kindness of our hearts because we ain't got no kindness in our hearts. It's all about the money, honey. You spend a bit and you get a bit back. Well, you spend a bit on the idea that you get a lot back. And as for the saving £1.5 billion by letting the poor pensioners freeze this year, also totally exaggerated. All poor pensioners are not going to be freezing this year. I mean, there's a thing called the cold winter payment. And here's a story. The Prime Minister has admitted that they don't know how many pensioners will lose their winter fuel allowance. The Prime Minister also failed to explain how the government would find the extra $8 billion a year for the NHS promised in the manifesto. The Prime Minister was grilled by Andrew Neil at the end of a day in which they'd already performed an embarrassing U-turn on the party's plans to shake up the social care system. They said that they'll have to means test the winter fuel allowance. And you know which party that was? The Conservative Party in 2017, under the Prime Minister, Theresa May. It's not a new idea, it's the Tories' idea. They were going to do that anyway. And not all pensioners are poor. In fact, some of the richest people in the country are pensioners. Means testing. Makes sense to me. I mean, why should us poor dopes who pay taxes, people who are barely getting by, why should we subsidise the heating bill for millionaires? For instance, I mean, let's just agree that that's crazy. I mean, we've got children that are going to bed hungry and their parents are subsidising the heating bills for millionaires. So we can agree that that's crazy, right? And then if that's crazy, then you just start to decide at what point does that not become crazy? At what level of wealth does a pensioner not deserve some free money for their heating that they can well afford? But no, of course not. Nobody talks in those terms. It's all extremes. Oh my God! It's the worst government ever. People say, whereas obviously it's not, and their achievements outweigh what hiccups they've had so far. But nobody's prepared to believe that because they're getting all of their information from people that are still screaming and throwing their toys out the pram that they lost the election in the first place. Painful. 0345 6060 973. Here's a caller in Staines. Nick.
Hello, how's your evening?
It's been great, mate. How's yours?
Yeah, not bad. I was going to say to you, have you heard about the potential budget cuts for the Met Police?
The potential what?
The budget cuts for the Met Police.
I had not. Budget cuts, Met Police. Just looking that up for you. One moment. The Met is facing a 12.8% reduction in its £3.5 billion budget, equating to around $500 million over the next financial year.
Yeah, they reckon about 450 million. And I was looking at it earlier, and it takes around about 50,000 people to police London. And they're currently at 46,000, so they're already 4,000 short. They're already understaffed.
Mm-hmm.
And in the next year, they expect they're going to lose 2,000 officers and 400 civilian staff.
We'll find out when we get there, but are you okay?
So, well, will it? Because that makes London worse.
Well, on the other hand, here's a story. The Mayor earmarks an additional £151 million to support the Met Police and keep Londoners safe. There is that. The Mayor's final draft budget proposes a record £1.148 billion of funding for the Met in total for this year, which is the opposite of what you just said.
But that's not going to do anything to bring back the 2,400 staff that are already out the door.
Well, they're not already out the door. You said that was an estimate based on guesswork. Listen, if you're asking me, do I think that the police are underfunded, then, well, of course, I don't know, and neither do you. But I would assume that police persons need a pay rise to at least keep them up with inflation. We also need to get better police officers because the Tories, under 14 years of austerity, managed to lose something like 20,000 frontline police officers and 22,000 backroom staff. And then, when the press found out about it and started bellyaching, they, in a panic, tried to replace them. But, of course, they were replacing experienced people with people who had no experience of anything whatsoever. All newbies. So no wonder they've screwed up. But do I think that it's a good idea to defund them? Well, no, if that's your question.
Well, yeah, I mean, essentially what I'm saying as well is that they've got a much bigger job than I think the public think. You know, they're not just there for emergencies, they're there to prevent crime, and without certain amounts of money in place, they cannot do that.
Right.
And that will make the country less safe.
Okay.
And that's the issue I've got with it.
Right.
So
there. Okay, well said. All right, thanks a lot, Nick. 0345 6060 973. Thing is, it's a lot easier to break something than it is to make it. I mean, it can take you years to fashion something, that is exquisite, made out of lollipop sticks or, I've got no idea, matches. But you can come in and you can break years' worth of work in about 10 seconds flat. That's easy. And that is the Conservative Party. That is...
The great big greedy nincompoop.
The great big greedy nincompoop was chief among them. I mean, they Liz Truss broke almost everything straight away.
Absolutely.
And then the Labour Party, as usual, has to come in and try to make things better. And they get complaint after complaint after complaint. As though the ruination of this once great nation is their fault. They've only just retaken power after 14 years of Conservative mismanagement. And the Tories' reaction to that is blind fury that they weren't allowed to keep doing it. I mean, they're in toy-throwing mode still. But it's going to take... here's the phrase that they keep coming out with, which is getting a little irritating. Tough decisions. OK, we're going to have to make tough decisions. Yeah, well, it's going to hurt probably a lot in order to rebuild what we had 14 years ago. You remember the NHS 14 years ago? There was a clip that Tony Blair... was on TV, which just resurfaced recently, and people in the audience were quizzing him about the NHS. And they were, and if you didn't see the clip, you may be surprised at this, people in the audience were complaining that they were getting an appointment with their GP too quickly.
What?
Too quickly, they were complaining. Oh, I called the GP up, and he said, can you come now? I can't come now, I've got work to do. They were complaining. Tomorrow? I can't come tomorrow, I've got an appointment. They were complaining. And then you fast forward 14 years and now we got what we got now. It's an absolute ocean-going catastrophe. The NHS needs to be put in an ambulance and sent to hospital. And so that's going to take a while. It's probably going to take 2 terms, 10 years minimum. So if you... I think people expect that on the seldom occasions that they are persuaded to vote for the Labour Party and not believe all of the bills and the lies and the propaganda that are pumped into them on a constant basis in this country, that the Labour Party is, well, they're all socialists. When absolutely everything that we rely on in this country is run on socialist principles. Take money from many and use it and put it in a big pot and make it for the benefit of all. The NHS, for instance, the police, the army, you name it. All of the things that we rely on are based on socialist principles. And the idea that can all be magicked, I think that's what people want. When they vote for a Labour Prime Minister, they want a magician, a wizard. Well, Keir Starmer is many things, but he ain't a wizard. And he ain't got no magic stick. And Meghan Markle's using the broom. Yeah, thanks a lot, Meghan Markle. You see what you've done?
Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
No idea. This text says, even as a lefty woke Labour supporter, I can't help but feel that Starmer, now known as the llama farmer, Harmer. Well, I've never heard that before. The llama farmer, Harmer. He will be haunted by karma if he doesn't U-turn following all this drama. You know things are bad when Farage comes all the way back from Merca for a protest by a bunch of reactionary snowflakes. Incidentally, has he been to Clacton yet? Has he been to Clacton yet? He got very irate when he was asked by some news person on the TV the other day. Did you see that? They're saying, pretty much just that. Have you been to Clacton yet? Oh, he got the right hump, didn't he? I bought a house there. What more do you want? He said. Well, how about living it? Would be a good idea. Buying a house is neither here nor there. I'm sure you can afford one. How about living it? Would be a good idea. 0345 6060 973. Oldbury, Ranges.
Hey, Nick, you all right, mate?
Yes, good, thanks.
Yeah, I'm afraid, I've been listening to all your callers and all your messages, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
No. People in Clacton.
No,
yeah,
I don't.
If me and you was to go down there and ask them how many times has Nigel Farage been here, you know what they're going to say? He's fighting on the world stage on our behalf.
Yes.
Right? Okay?
Yes.
And the dinglings, yeah, that's who you're going to meet when you go down there, right? So this farmers' protest, and you've just read that article, I know 1-2 farmers, yeah. They admitted privately that Brexit isn't working. But they don't want to admit it publicly, right? So they're cutting their noses to spite their faces. They can carry on, as far as I'm concerned, but it's affecting all of us.
Yes.
Right? And this thing about the inheritance and that, what they're going on about, when people like James Dyson or whoever buys like £500 million worth of land why don't he just put stamp duty on them? When he was going, the Tories could have done it the last 14 years or whatever. I think all of them are scared of the big people. I mean, we was all on about windfall taxes, and the Labour hasn't done the windfall tax on the fuel giants, have they?
Yeah, I'm not aware that they have raised it. No, we give more in subsidies than we take in taxes.
Yeah. So, and what's going to happen is the right-wing press, right, at the moment have got the upper hand with Joe Public, right? And like what you just said, Starmer, Farmer, Killer, Llama, whatever, all these rhymes and that, yeah? It's like 5-year-olds talking,
yes.
Right?
Well, that's where we are as a world right now, because we've got a 5-year-old who's about to be the world's most powerful person, and that's exactly how he talks.
Oh, shut up! Yeah, right. What the gift that's giving for Labour at the moment is the leader for the Tories, Kemi Beginoff, yeah? Right? And then the other thing is Nigel Farage is fighting to destroy the Tory party, right? Mm-hmm. And if in some places, like what I've just said, the windfall tax on these big companies, right? And this is right. As from January the 1st, 2025, if we see hedge funds buying farmland, yeah, we're going to put a 25 or 30% stamp duty on there. That will soon stop them in their tracks, yeah? Okay? I'll give you an example. When I bought my shop, my kids were all little, and they all worked in my shop, worked really hard to build the business up, right? Now, I could use the same thing. Well, my kids have run my shop now, and I want to retire. I want to pass it on. I won't be able to do it. I'm going to have to pay, they're going to have to pay inheritance tax or whatever.
Exactly.
Capital gains tax, yeah? So the thing is, like we always say, the masses are asses, right?
They're just easily led. People are easily led. They read about some outrage some confected outrage in the right-wing press, and they think, God, that's awful. Where can I register my complaint? That's going to ruin my life. Well, it's not going to actually touch them at all.
It ain't. That's what I'm trying to say. So, and the other thing I can't understand, and I understand business, right? How can you have a farm that's worth £5 million and it's only turning in the minimum wage? I can't understand that. And then they say, well, these combine harvesters can cost up to £500,000.
Yeah, but they don't buy them, do they? They rent them.
Not even if you bought them, right? I can give you an example. What we fry our chips in,
yes.
Right? Those cost $50,000. Yeah.
Blimey.
Okay. So
what else do they do? What else do they do?
All they do is fry, and they use up gas.
Can you get Classic FM on that?
No, but that's what I'm trying to say. So all of us in our little circles, yeah, their circles are bigger. So, and then why, other than, all these big hedge funds trying to buy up this land? I mean, Bill Gates is supposed to be one of the biggest single-person landowner in America now. In the world, yeah, right? In India, everybody's trying to buy up the farmland, right? And obviously, Ukraine was the breadbasket of the world as well. That's why Putin wants to take it over. I mean, we can do without our telephones or televisions, but we can't do without food. And when these people take over us, yeah, which they already have, right, we're going to suffer because look at when like that smog says we're going to get cheaper prices, cheaper shoes, cheaper this, cheaper that. We're not.
No.
Fish is going up every couple of months, right? It's going up a couple of quid a stone, right? Potatoes, and these farmers
back up. It's going up a couple of quid or what?
A stone.
A stone?
As in weight, yeah. A stone in weight.
Yeah, but you buy fish by the stone?
We buy by the stone, yeah.
Really?
Right, yeah, right. So, and then, when the farmers are pleading poverty, right? Last year, we was paying up to £27-28 a bag of potatoes because they had a bad harvest, right? Now, how does that work? How am I supposed to feel sorry for the farmer that supplies me? I says, we normally pay about 8-9 quid, 10 quid maybe, and if it goes really bad, 12. You are passing everything on to the little man, right? So the little man is a person that gets it in the neck from the customer.
Yes.
He gets it from the farmer and the suppliers.
Because the customer will go, how much?
Yeah, that's it. That's what they say. They say, how much? What are you doing? You want to buy a new Mercedes, right? And I say, no.
They'll say, I didn't order a stone. I just wanted one fish.
I know. And then, Farage going on about Jaguar Land Rover. Where was he, right, when, Rolls-Royce was sold to the Germans? He never done nothing about it. Jaguar Land Rover was sold to the Indians. He never done nothing about it. All of our, we still got our car industry, but it's owned by foreign companies.
Yeah.
And, Tata, he was very sincere when he turned Jaguar Land Rover around from being a failing company to being a very successful company, and they do produce half decent cars.
Hey, you know what else they produce? Cereal.
There's tea in India, Tata tea.
Yeah, I've been eating Jaguar Land Rover cereal.
Have you? I got Jaguar Land Rover glasses.
What, to see through or to drink out of?
Not to see through.
To see through, right.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, everybody's merchandising everything else, right, which goes back to that silly banana thing, right? And it just shows how much mickey these people are taking out of us for someone to buy a banana for £6 million, and then the masses go, oh, well, that could be me one day. I could buy 2 bananas for 12 million. Well, mate, listen, you ain't got 2 pennies to rub together, right? Yeah. Listen, you ain't got 2 pennies to rub together. So a man comes there with a flat cap, wearing wellies, right, earning £700,000 a year or whatever.
Outside, right? As his second job, which makes it his first job, by the way. It makes being an MP the second job. Or the third, maybe the fourth, fifth, sixth or eighth job, who knows?
And then, when you ask one of your guys, if someone punches you in the face, right, what you're supposed to do, right? You know what these people are doing? They're giving them a boxing glove and saying, mate, punch me a bit harder, please. and if you're going to whack me with a stick, I've got a spare stick, mate. You can beat me up with that stick, and when it breaks, you can beat me again with the new one I've given you.
And they'll say, thank you, sir, may I have another? Yeah.
That's the problem now.
Right. Okay, so how much is a stone of fish?
I think it's around about £90 now.
90?
Yeah, it used to be, a few years ago, it was about 50, 52, 53. If you went to £60 a stone, we'd go crazy, mate. What you doing? You're going to put us out of business.
So
and
if I was
because of the European.
No, it's not because of the European Union. So if I was if I was fish, I'd be about 100 quid. That seems like pretty good value for money, doesn't it?
No, Nick, it's not. Because of the EU, because we left the EU, right? The fishermen that come into our country, right, they have to do so much paperwork, so they don't bother coming here anymore. They just take it to Denmark,
right?
And so it takes them like 4 or 5 hours to complete all the paperwork every day, and they say, mate, we're not coming into England, it's coming to Aberdeen. They take it into Denmark, and that was when Boris Johnson said there will be no custom checks and there'll be no this, no that.
Right.
So we was all lied, and now all these people are complaining, right? But the thing is, because the fish, right, is only like 0.00% of the GDP of this country, right? The government weren't worried about it, but it affects millions of small, people who used to have fish and chips on a Friday.
Exactly.
Now they don't.
Right, and those people who voted for Brexit got exactly what they wanted. Nothing. Because they knew what they were voting for. Here, Ranjit, calm down. Relax.
I'm having a beer. I'll take a swig on here, right? Listen to this. That's nice.
There you are. Now he has achieved total relaxation. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Rangers. This text says, the Black Friday sales have begun, and given its clash with World War III, I've ordered 1 tent, 1 lighter, and 68 cans of tomato soup. I recommend everybody follow suit. If anybody knows anyone selling a dinghy, I'll be on the Humber by noon. Actually, that sounds like a modern art masterpiece, doesn't it? 1 tent, 1 lighter, and 68 cans of tomato soup. The bidding starts at £1.5 million. And Mark in Utoxeter says, evening, Nick. If war is declared, will I still be able to receive Netflix? Only the new series of Squid Game comes out soon. Well, we'll put that into the clause before we sign the contract to enter into World War III. Netflix must remain available. And ad-free.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott.
You don't know what you're talking about, do you?
Mark in... no, I read that one. Mark in Utoxeter, very, very concerned about Netflix. Will says, after Donald and Vlad throw their nuclear dummies out of the pram, the only things to survive will be rats, cockroaches and Nigel Farage, which is very unfair. I don't think Nigel Farage will survive. Not even in that wax jacket and your comedy pretend Farmer Wellingtons. It'll be ivy. Rats, cockroaches and ivy on everything. And it will take about 6 weeks. That stuff's a nightmare. Tooting. Hello, Jan.
Hi, good evening, Nick.
Yes,
How
Jan.
are you?
I am super. Thanks for asking.
So I'm ringing about something. I'm quite blown away this evening by what the figures I got from the National Lottery. It's the anniversary, the 30th anniversary of the National Lottery this week. Yeah. Huh. And it's staggering. I thought I had to look and see who actually owns it or runs it or who makes decisions, because they've raised 50 billion for good causes. So I thought, well, I know that the government gives them a percentage to assign of this money, to give out of this money to, like 40% goes to community, health, education, environment, and those sort of things, including that. And then 20%, only 20% to the arts and 20% to heritage. But who decides? That's what the Parliament sets, that percentage of shares. But I've started to wonder who decides who gets the money. 50 billion, it's 30 million a week for good causes. That's a lot of money, isn't it?
Well, it would change my life. But yeah, I'm not sure it would actually, do much to. Well, it depends on where they're putting it.
That's what I was wondering. Who makes the decision? Who to give it to distribute it to? Because it goes to different groups. But apparently it's been run by the National Lottery. Was run by, what was it? Camelot.
That was
recently.
It's been sold.
Recently, a Czech Republic company, Europe's largest lottery operator, now owns it.
Well, it's an oil and gas company.
Yes.
Why are we incapable of running anything that should actually be ours? I mean, we can't run water, we can't run electricity, we can't run gas, we can't run the trains, and we can't run the buses, and we can't run anything, including the National Lottery. I mean, for crying out loud, how hard can it be? If we just kept this stuff for ourselves, then we wouldn't have to give the operators vast amounts of the money that could actually be going to helping our lives.
Yeah, I mean, look, when I see the figures, like for the young homeless, I know it's a bit grim, but the young homeless this Christmas is supposed to be about 23,000. It would be nice to know that some of this money, 30 million a week, is going to good causes. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Which good causes, and how good are they?
Well, that's what I'm concerned about. But apparently, the other staggering thing that got to me, sort of blew me away, was that over the 30-year period, 7,400 millionaires have been made. That's a lot, isn't it? I mean,
none of them were me.
Well, around there somewhere.
A what?
I don't know. Well, I mean, I don't want to be disappointed that I haven't won, so I wait till I've got a few, and I before I can face doing it.
So you can revel in your disappointment all at once, rather than dribbling it out. I get it.
The most I've ever won is £70.
70? Wow, that's doing a lot better than me.
And getting free tickets.
Yeah, I've had that a few times. Yeah.
But Nick, well, I mean, what? It's 50 billion for good causes has been raised.
Yeah. But where's it gone?
It's
Which
a lot
good
of
causes?
money.
Yeah. Maybe it's all gone to a bloke called Dave who said, "Well, you know, I'm a good cause. Give it to me." and just in order to save time, they say, "Oh, all right then, just give it to Dave."
Do you know? I wish there was more transparency in finding out. You know, the people.
Well,
who
have you tried
decisions.
Googling it?
No, I did Google things to find out a bit more. But well, I'm going to come back to that and Google some more to find out actually who actually runs the distribution bodies. Who are they? You know, they've got quite a lot of. It's a lot of money they're dealing with. 30 million a week.
That is a vast amount. I'm going to reject all cookies and see what I can find out for you straight away, if not sooner.
One more thing. Can I have a go? Yeah, let me just say one more thing that kind of really blew me away today as well. Was that to find out, apparently, you know, recently I mentioned about I had a pet cockerel when I was a child and it was served up for Sunday lunch.
You had a pet cockerel as a child and your parents served it up for Sunday lunch?
No, they didn't know I made a pet of it because it was one cockerel amongst 99 hens.
That is one annoying pet, though. Isn't it? I mean, first thing in the morning and then for hours afterwards, it's that cock-a-doodle-doo nonsense.
I was intrigued, Nick. I was intrigued to read about the pensioner in Southampton who had a pet cockerel. He's 80 years old.
Yeah, I read about that. Didn't his neighbours do their nut so he got rid of the cockerel and then bought another one. Isn't that right?
I think the first one he had before was a pet. He's 80 years old. He wanted probably anyway.
Well,
anyway, the first one the council had killed.
He wanted something to jolt him out of his reverie first thing in the morning. You know, just to reinforce the fact that he's still alive.
Nick, apparently chickens are quite popular as pets. There was an article about it. Chickens are 5 times more popular as pets than hamsters. Well, I don't know where these chickens are being kept, but they're kept in homes. You know, they're not on farms. They're not necessarily on farms.
They aren't pets. They're just egg-making machines.
No, these are cockerels.
Oh, I don't care what they are. Okay, well, you can't get an egg out of a cockerel. That is true.
They say they're affectionate, loving animals and make great pets.
Do me a favour. They're small dinosaurs. If they could, they'd peck you to death. Don't fall down in their presence.
Oh no! Everything needs affection.
Yeah, well, they can get their affection from other chickens.
Well, yeah, hens might be. Yeah, I guess they but people are keeping them as pets though.
Yeah, well, that's
even King Charles has hens.
Yeah, but that's not a pet to him, is it? It's First of all, he doesn't do anything to them. He has people to do that.
He's given them special hen houses. He saved them from going to the abattoir because they usually kill off hens once they've laid. You know.
Yeah. Okay. He saved a couple of chickens from the abattoir, and then he spent. Listen to me. And then he spent the afternoon blasting grouse out of the air.
Oh yeah, I don't think
I remember about that. Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't do that.
Never saw an animal he didn't want to shoot.
Oh dear.
Probably never saw a peasant he didn't want to shoot.
Oh.
Well, that calmed you down.
Well.
Are you going to be okay? Because I'm not sure I am. God.
Yeah, I had a spoon of honey before you called me to.
A spoon of honey. Wow, that helps the medicine go down. The medicine go down. The medicine go down.
Nick, just before we go, talking about smooth things.
What?
Talking about smooth things, I'm a bit intrigued about you know, what your smooth classics that you listen to. I mean, do you have some favourites? Maybe you'll tell us one day about the favourites, or did you have some favourites this week?
Favourite musical pieces and composers? Yeah. No, don't ask me names. I don't know anything about names. I know the ones that I like, and I like the ones that I know. That's all I can tell you, Jan. 0345 6060 973. Graham says, don't worry, Donny will stop the war. As Putin's useful idiot, he'll appease him and take the credit for selling Ukraine down the river. The world's dictators are laughing their cotton socks off. Yeah. Yep. Let's see now. Done that wrong. One moment, please. Glasgow. Hello, David.
Oh, hello, Nick. How are you? Thank you for having me on.
Well, thanks for being on.
No, thank you. I mean, I don't want to sound like heartless or like, you know, I'm sympathetic to the fact that, you know, they're purportedly they are understanding that some farmers may have taken their own lives. So, you know, I do accept that, and I do think that needs to be investigated. But at the same time, I also wonder if Brexit didn't happen, would there be a need for this inheritance tax thing to happen at all for the farmers?
Well, what has the one got to do with the other, though, as far as inheritance tax is concerned?
If memory serves me right, I think most farmers were in favour of Brexit.
I think it was, according to Farmers Weekly, it was 54%.
Oh. That is
surprising.
That doesn't match my impression.
No, nor mine. But I guess Farmers Weekly knows farmers more than I do, so I'm going to take their word for it.
Yeah, well, I wonder what they were saying back in 2016, but sure.
I wonder if
it's a more recent figure, then sure.
I wonder if that actually was a reflection on whether farmers want to admit that they were for Brexit, because the question that Farmers Weekly was posing was, how has Brexit been for you? And practically every single one of them said it's been an ocean-going catastrophe. So maybe they didn't want to admit that they had voted for Brexit, because that would be too much loss of face.
Absolutely, and I don't know. They still get so many supporters. You know, there's still so many people who come around and say Brexit's doing great for me. And to be very honest, I do think maybe for, I don't know, a couple of hundred families in the UK, they probably are doing better as a result of Brexit. But I think for the majority of us,
yeah, exactly. Been awful, but you know, at least a few already rich people made a lot of money. So you know, there's that. Thanks a lot, David. 0345 6060 973. Matt in High Wycombe says, I really don't think Vlad the Insaner is going to start hammering the nuke buttons like he's playing a pinball machine. The reason is he is, without doubt, the richest man in the world. He's got more power than you can He's got more power than you can wave a stick at. He has every luxury known to man on tap. I really don't think he's stupid enough to end up in a bunker eating corned beef watching episodes of Cheers on a VCR for the rest of his life. Yeah, there is that, yeah. That's right, yes. And David in Teddington says, Hi, Nick, on average we speak at 160 words per minute, but only type at 40 words per minute, so there's a 4-to-1 ratio in favour of talking over using our thumbs to communicate. Applying these facts, not feelings, it's taken me 4 minutes to type this message, as a but would have only taken 1 minute to say it. However, if I called you to make this comment, I might have to wait up to 40 minutes to get on the air, so texting is actually quicker. Another fact, says David in Tennington. That's right, yeah.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Come on, we're running late.
We are running late. Nick texts, large farms are essential to gain economies of scale. Labour's inheritance plans will make farms sell off some land to pay the inheritance tax. A smaller acreage will make the farm less efficient. Result, higher farm costs and increased food prices. That's correct, isn't it?
No.
No, the logic of your argument does not add up, because if a farm is small enough and making too little of a profit to be able to afford inheritance tax, even though you get at least double, if not triple, the allowance of everybody else, and then you only pay at half the rate of anybody else, and then you get 10 years over which to pay it, for crying out loud, and they're still complaining. But if you find yourself in that situation where you, a small farmer, have to sell off some land, then that land is going to be hoovered up by large farms, larger ones than you, which will then gain greater economies of scale because they will be farming larger areas, which will mean lower farm costs and decreased food prices. The precise opposite of what you said there, Nick. Perth. Hello, Mike.
Hello, Nick. Yeah, just, I've been listening to you for a while. You made the comment that you think the Labour government's going to need 2 terms to sort out the NHS. Well, I kind of agree with you there, because there's going to be a lot more appointments available because of the amount of pensioners who have actually frozen or starved to death. Would you agree?
No. No, if you've frozen to death, then you are not waiting for an appointment on the NHS.
Exactly.
The NHS can do nothing for you at that point.
Exactly. So they won't be bothering the NHS, so you will probably get your appointment, no problem then.
It's just so much good news, I can barely stand it.
Yeah, great. It's fantastic. Yeah, well, anything to oblige.
Okay. Well, I appreciate that, Mike. That's Mike with the good news. All right.
Yeah, the good news. The good news. Listen,
yes.
How many times have we heard from the senior Labour government people? Let's put it that way. I'm failing. Anyway, that the payslip, this great payslip that they're talking about. Fortunately, I don't need one now. I'm closer to 80 now than 70. Anyway, how many times you must have heard on your payslip you will not see an income tax, any increase on your income tax.
Right.
Have you heard that statement?
Yes.
Yes.
It was kind of like this.
Read my lips, we will not be raising taxes on income or VAT or national insurance.
Yeah.
No, that's not the one I'm talking about. They actually talked about your pay slip. You won't see any rises in your income tax on the pay slip. Mm-hmm. Now, you're believe it or not, I actually pay income tax. I've got a small private pension, just over the 12,570. So, believe it or not, they're taking my income tax I'll see an increase in my pension slip.
How?
An increase in my taxes because the personal tax threshold has been frozen and will be frozen.
Oh, you might.
2028.
So
now, they must have. I'm giving them. They must have forgotten about that. Do you think they've forgotten about that?
Well, I think. Yes, no, I can't bring up to mind the precise wording, but I think that they were saying that there won't be an increase in the percentage. The amount of money is.
The pay slip won't see. You check it. You'll see that every one of the top, what you call Reeves.
But that promise doesn't make sense, because what if you earned more? Then you would be taxed more.
Yes, but they said you won't see a rise. You will see a rise because everybody's pension over 12,570 will see an increase, and the following year they'll see another increase because it's been frozen till 2028.
Right.
And another thing that they said, if you allow me, please, another thing that they've said constantly, they're saying, well, the winter fuel allowance will be more than negated by the triple lot because you'll get £475.
Yes.
Yes, well, totally wrong. The majority of pensioners will not get that amount. That amount is for if you're on the new pension and you have the full new pension, you'll get £475.
But
we're on the basic state pension.
But by the same extension, by the same extension, not all pensioners are going to lose the winter fuel allowance. Just those that are deemed to be sufficiently well off not to need it.
Well, I can assure you I'm not well off and I'm not getting it. And I'm getting nothing like £475 because I'm in what they call before 2016 on the basic state
But, Mike,
pension.
you live in Perth. It never gets cold in Perth.
Absolutely Baltic just now, Nick. Absolutely. And here we're expecting Storm Bud. What did they call it? Bert. Is it Bert?
Yeah,
Aye.
Bert.
He's supposed to be coming in at 4 o'clock this morning, so I'm going to sleep with one eye open and get it there. Yeah, when we've got.
Yeah, you'll have to.
After that,
you'll have to chip the ice off the cat. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
There you go.
You'll
All
definitely get your hospital appointment anyway. Now.
Well, I can't wait.
Yeah.
If only there was something wrong with me. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Trevin Wood Green says, Transport for London really make me vomit. I wonder why. Well, let's read on and find out. Trevin Wood Green says, TFL, Transport for London, really make me vomit with rage. They've misnamed the new tube station in Battersea. They call it Battersea Power Station. When it should... That's right. When it should be Battersea Power Station Station. That's right. Wow. I've been wasting my time on this show talking about all of these other unimportant issues like World War III when we could actually have been delving into this one. They called it Battersea Power Station when it should be Battersea Power Station Station. That is completely correct in every respect. Well spotted there, Trev. Sorry about the vomit. Cornwall, Malcolm.
Good evening, Nick. How are you, sir?
I am great, mate.
Just thought I'd ring and continue our somewhat heated debate from last weekend.
Was it?
About farming.
Oh, yeah.
You went off at the deep end a little bit, but that was me.
Yeah.
I poked you. I poked you. So look,
I have no recollection of what you're talking about at all. But anyway.
Okay. Anyway, moving on. The farming dispute in London. Nigel Farage was there.
Mm-hmm.
As you say, his wax jacket.
In his comedy Wellingtons.
I'm a nutcase.
And
yeah.
Is Chelsea wellies, which he keeps in the boot of his Chelsea tractor.
Yeah, spotless.
And Nigel Farage was not allowed on the stage to speak.
Good.
Because the farmers did not want him there. And since the event, the vast majority of farmers are all saying that Jeremy Clarkson is not the person they want as a spokesperson.
He's a terrible spokesperson.
Yeah. But again, it goes back to, and not only you, but lots of people got sucked in. My wife, my daughter, they watched every episode. They got sucked in by his ridiculous, stupid farming program.
I liked it.
The boy, yeah. Look, it's sweet because of the boy. The boy and
no.
Anyway, look,
I disagree with I disagree with Clarkson about almost everything, apart from that he is really good on TV.
Well, did you see him? Did you see him speaking to the BBC lady?
Yes, I did. Yeah, he's good on his. I know This is why I said that he's a bad spokesperson because he gets the hump. I mean, how can you get annoyed at your own words being repeated back to you? I mean, that's just priceless.
And boy, did he get the hump. He was disgusting. If I was farming, I would put a notice in all newspapers in the future, Jeremy Clarkson, do not come near our events, because he did them zero favours. And
if he just stuck to doing that TV show, then he would have been doing farmers a good. He would have been doing farmers a favour because he did show to people who don't know anything about farming, like me, what it's like to be a farmer, but he isn't actually living the life of your ordinary farmer. Your ordinary farmer doesn't have a £100 million deal with Amazon and present a quiz show on ITV.
Yeah, look, he briefly, he recently wanted to buy a pub because the farm isn't working out.
He did.
He's recently opened up a farm shop because the farming isn't making him any money, because he now realised that you don't make money out of farming. It saves you tax on land purchases, yes. But the point is, Nick, and this takes me back to my debate with you last week, there are farmers who earn very little money, yes.
Right.
They've got a big farm. But hold on, Nick. Now, at that event last weekend...
Malcolm, I've just run out of time. 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 I've just run out of